start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of it. New York, New York, these vagabond shoes are longing to stray.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Beantown vs. Big Apple Sports. I'm Reed Becker, joined by Alex Green. Unfortunately, Nico is unable to join us in the studio today, but he will be back next episode. So today, I will be hosting the episode. Today, we will be discussing the offseason moves and previewing the season for the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees as spring training is already underway. So Alex, what offseason moves did the Red Sox make, and what are their realistic expectations for this season?
So since the Red Sox did not make any huge offseason moves, realistically, I think that they will most likely miss the playoffs, but they could potentially be in contention for one of the wild card spots. They'll probably finish with a record of around 500. Them making the wild card, though, would be a big ask, especially from the fans. One of the big things that they think the Red Sox did, and probably the biggest thing, is they brought back Alex Cora as manager. He was with the team in 2018, so he has a relationship with all the players already, and the players are used to working with him, so they hopefully that will help. They also signed Kike Hernandez. He's a utility player that can really play anywhere on the field. They also signed Warren Gonzalez, who's another utility player that can play anywhere on the field. So those two guys should really help their lineup and just their depth in terms of on the bench guys. They signed Garrett Richards on the pitching side of the ball, who will probably slide into the back of the end of the rotation, maybe a 3 or 4 spot, especially when Sale comes back. And then in terms of the bullpen, they traded for Adam Ottavino, who was a decent reliever with the Yankees. He had a bad 2020 season, but he should be able to bounce back. And then another starting pitcher that they re-signed was Martin Perez. Then he will most likely be the 4th or maybe 5th option even when Sale comes back in the rotation. One of the key departures for the Red Sox was Andrew Benintendi. He was traded away to the Royals, and they didn't get too much for him in return. They got Franchi Cordero, who was expected to play maybe left field for them. But besides that, they got a couple of prospects, but nothing too big for him. The Red Sox have a lot of questions going into the season, especially with their pitching and their starting rotation. One of which is how good will Redo Rodriguez be after he missed all of 2020 with the heart condition and the COVID-19 protocols. He missed this season, and then when Chris Sale returns from Tommy John surgery, how good will he be? So just overall, lots of questions for the Red Sox. And while their pitching has improved, their rotation and bullpen have both improved. They still aren't perfect, and they will probably be the downfall of the team, which would cause the record to be a little worse than it probably will be.
So I just want to chime in here with the Red Sox. I do not expect them to make the playoffs, as they still have a lot of questions, as Alex just mentioned. And just quick stat based on their pitching is in 2020, their pitching staff with starting and relieving was last in the American League out of all those teams under the categories of hits, walks, home runs, and just earned runs given up. In terms of just last thing with the Red Sox, this Alex Cora coming back to manage the Red Sox, this is probably not a popular opinion up here, but I'm not a fan of bringing back someone. I understand he had success in 2018, but considering his big involvement with the Astros cheating scandal, it's just not something that I'm not a fan of. I guess it's just typical in Boston with cheating. So, but let's move right along. So moving on, the Yankees have high expectations to win the AL East this year as they return with the majority of their same team. They re-signed DJ LeMahieu, who will be back in the infield this season. They also re-signed Brett Gardner out in the outfield. The only main difference this season is their starting rotation. They signed Corey Kluber and traded for Jameson Taillon, who are both coming off of major injuries. So Kluber, for example, missed all of 2020 season, and Taillon is also coming off of his second Tommy John surgery. So the big question is, if they are healthy in their pitching rotation, the Yankees are a threat. As a result of those pitching signings on the rotation, they opted not to re-sign Masahiro Tanaka and James Paxton. The only really main competitor, in my opinion, for the Yankees is the Dodgers. But if you're just looking specifically in their own division, I would say Toronto will be a main competitor with them in their division, considering that they gave them a lot of trouble in 2020. But if you're looking at the Rays, in my opinion, they took a step back with their starting pitching as they traded away Blake Snell to the San Diego Padres and also lost Charlie Morton in addition to that.
Yeah, I think the big thing for the Yankees is the health of Kluber and Taylor Young. I think if they are healthy, I think there will be improvements over Tanaka and Paxton. And with Cole, I think the Yankees rotation is one of the top ones in the league. You know, you have like San Diego, obviously, who has a lot of quality stars, and then obviously Los Angeles with the signing of Trevor Bauer there. But I think the Yankees' top three in their rotation is one of the best in the major leagues. And then also just guys like Judge and Stanton, can they stay healthy as well? They're both huge bats for the Yankees. Judge obviously playing right field and Stanton DHing, but both of them have missed a lot of time in the past couple seasons with injuries. So if the big thing for the Yankees is just health, and if their players can stay healthy, I think they have a real shot at obviously winning the AL East and then maybe even the World Series as well.
That's all the time we have for you today. Join us again next time when we'll be previewing the NFL free agency for the New England Patriots, New York Jets, and New York Giants.